Welcome to the weekly news roundup. Apologies, we did not get a chance to go live as apparently where I'm at is not friendly for streaming. Very curious because the cell tower looks nice and strong, but it wasn't strong enough to do the broadcast, which actually I've camped in a place close to this before and we had the same results. Really good looking signal with no ability to stream. Very interesting. We will make different arrangements for next week's show, which should launch at 5 Eastern as well. If that doesn't, well, I guess we'll just go this month like this or whatever else. Anyway, or I'll just have the Starlink dish ready next week if we have to do that. Anyway, let's go ahead and chat today, though, about our Quicklines and our Sillyville. So I'm not sure how long this video will be, but we'll just go through what would be our Quicklines and our Sillyville sections. So we're going to start out first and foremost. We wondered why in the world Petco needed your social security number and your driver's license number and more, but it all leaked out anyway. And this is probably because, you know, if you're adopting a pet, they might want to do a background check on you. It just baffles me that if I go into a local store, you'd figure they can do that type of background check stuff and then delete the information once they verified I'm not a crazy psycho with a cat. Oh, actually, I am a crazy psycho with a cat, but I've never hurt my cat, so there's always that. Anyway, but Petco has a security lapse that affected customers' social security numbers, driver's licenses, and more. So social security numbers, driver's licenses, financial information such as account numbers, credit card and debit numbers, and births of day. Talk about a treasure trove of information that a hacker would want to have. How wonderful. They did not disclose the exact number of victims in California, where companies are required to disclose breaches involving at least 500 state residents, which suggests there are more victims than that in the number of the state. So we don't know how many were leaked yet, but it's got to be enough to cover that threshold because they don't want California to come in there and issue them a fine. We know Gavin Newsom needs the money. Whoa, I get money for a violation. All right. But it's just baffling me. Why do they need such information? Why do they put it all on a centralized database? And why do they need to retain it in an online fashion so long? That is an interesting grouping of questions. All right, so next up, UK campaigners condemn creepy digital billboards that can track viewer responses. No, just stop. Stop, Guardian. You are so annoying. All right. So these are people are moving into these big apartment buildings. They call them flat buildings. I don't know. What do they call them now? But over there, they are basically having to hit the button and wait for the elevator. So they've decided they're going to put these creepy digital billboards next to these because they simply say, hey, this is a captive audience. And what's worse is that these things have cameras with the capability of recording the responses that the people have. And so, of course, the civil liberty campaigners called it, quote, creepy as hell, end quote. And I agree. Concurrence right there. Digital billboards capable of viewing, let me restart that sentence. Digital billboards capable of filming viewers' responses to adverts have been installed in hundreds of apartment blocks in a move that civil liberty campaigners call creepy as hell. So 30-Second Group is the company who owns it. They say the cameras allow them to track occupant engagement for residents who are a, quote, captive audience, end quote, as they wait for lifts to their apartments. How dystopian of them, you know? Now, they said that they have, they're on course to have 1,000 buildings wired by the end of the year. Now, there was actually a wealthier apartment building that originally got these, but the wealthy people said, no, you got to take these out. And the apartment complex like, sure, we'll take them out. You guys are the wealthy guys. You got power. These plebs over here, oh, no, they're gonna have the dystopian crap spying. So this is they have this interviewed this one person throughout here. Is 32-year-old resident of the building owned by this company. He's complained that part of his £209 a month service charge for his studio is being used to pay for the devices. Here's your service fee. You're paying the service fee to add in some spying surveillance technology. I don't want that. I will choose not to pay the fee. I don't want this creepy surveillance stuff. So they say this guy says that the RMG is the company that owns the apartment building here. They say they're not being spied on, but there are cameras in the devices. It basically goes down to the one company is saying that the cameras are not turned on. The other company is saying, well, these allow us to film the reactions. So somebody is lying here. They say the strongest selling point is we know who our audience is. All our displays are integrated with cameras so we can get demographic data and also track occupant engagement. Like, why do we have a whole bunch of people who think this is okay? Vast majority of this is the company speaking. Vast majority of feedback has been positive, and the London Fire Brigade has praised the screens as being useful to get information out to the companies quickly and effectively. Okay, find me 5 people in the real world that you go up and say, hey, would you find a positive feedback for putting a digital messaging board with a camera to film your responses? If you can find 5 people that are not insane asylum patients, I might be willing to listen to your argument. Now, I can understand the London Fire Brigade wanting quicker access to information dissemination. That's okay. You can do that. You can do that without a creepy spy camera filming people's reactions. You can do that. So this guy says, I've talked to my neighbors about this. I haven't found anyone who thinks this is a good idea. See previous comments about mental patients are the only ones giving positive feedback. It's like Rain Man. He's answering a question from a half hour ago. What's going on here? So the residents are not formally consulted, nor is there a requirement for them to do this. So no, the RMG who owns the building has not formally consulted the residents. And they say, well, we're standing on our basis. There's no legal requirement. We have to do that. That tells me exactly what type of people these are. They're the type of people, if they walk outside and get hit by a car, no one's crying at the funeral. You might actually have more people there cheering. I don't know. Not that I would endorse such a thing, but that's the type of people we're talking to. Merged last year, RMG was forced to remove 2 digital billboards supplied from the group from the grade 2 listed Park and Hills Flat after objections from the residents. So residents of these buildings, go ahead and do that, and maybe you might take something from the people that were defacing some of the traffic cameras. I wouldn't endorse that either, but it was something to think about. Just something to think about. Billboards are equipped with demographic scanning tech, have no place in people's homes. Yes, they are the height of surveillance capitalism. Yes, I agree. So that's kind of creepy as craziness. And don't forget, what happens in the UK probably won't stay in the UK, folks. Phishers are now hiding scam banking pages behind free Cloudflare pages. Yes, Cloudflare was supposed to help us. You were supposed to solve the problem, not join them. So Cloudflare, like Google, like Microsoft, has the ability to set up development pages for you to test your websites, and these are free. And so scammers are now using Cloudflare free development pages to put up pixel by pixel replicas of banking login pages to capture logins and MFA tokens. How wonderful. And I did a video about this a few weeks back, saying when these big tech companies like this, their free services are being used to legitimately defraud people, I actually think that these companies should be held liable to make it right. And then they can in turn use their power to go after and recuperate their losses. So if I happen to get caught up in something that is so convincing, even I have a problem identifying what's real and what's fake, and Cloudflare's free pages are in the background doing this, and I get defrauded of $10,000, I can't take a $10,000 hit. But Cloudflare makes that in a couple of minutes, at worst. Cloudflare is capable of saying, well, I guess our free pages were being used to defraud people. Cloudflare should have to make that right to me. Now, Cloudflare's out $10,000. What does Cloudflare do? Well, Cloudflare has the technical capabilities of figuring out where that money went. And then Cloudflare could go into that country, the bank, whatever else, and go, look, you are empowering criminals. It cost us $10,000. You're going to pay us back $10,000. And they'll be like, well, what are you talking about? Well, you have all the detail for the criminal. We trace it to you. We are taking the money out of your accounts now. because we had to disburse that money because scams happened. Now it's up to the banks. Now the bank can do the cool thing and maybe hand the criminal over to their local law enforcement after, of course, charging them all the money, and now the criminal will be on the hook. Now, somebody's ultimately going to lose money. Maybe it's the bank who didn't vet the person right. Maybe it's Cloudflare who allowed the free service. But the person that shouldn't be responsible is the end user who was so convinced by a page that was hosted by a big tech company that's supposed to be the one identifying the bots and the fraud. It should not be Cloudflare. If anybody should take the hit, it should be Cloudflare. I should not be taking the hit. That's my thought. Let me know. What do you guys think? We did a whole video about that because Microsoft's services were being used. Google's services were being used. Of course, Google's trying to get you to disable all of your ad blockers and make them less effective, while at the same time, the vast majority of scams are top page paid Google ads. Why are these companies not held liable for the fraud they are empowering inside these people? Now, I understand, well, I mean, come on, you expect these companies to pay money for development pages? Sure. The problem is, of course, you got to pay for the Google ads too. So these scammers know that even if they do have to pay a few dollars for the development pages, they're still going to result in positive things. But that's where Cloudflare has the resources to stop this. The end user who's getting scammed does not. Let Cloudflare deal with it, because they also have the resources to find the target, identify them, and re-extract their losses. Prove me wrong. Maybe I should go sit next to Steve Crowder. Prove me wrong. Change my mind, you know. In this case, phishers compromised a website as a redirector. Attackers took over a legitimate-looking domain and saddled it along with obscure paths for phishing redirection, and it's all through a pages.dev through Cloudflare. All right, NCSC has warned, this is the UK's National Cyber Security Center, has warned that prompt injection of AI may never be fixed. They're doing this correlation with SQL injection. SQL injection was basically solved, at least for the most part. This was an old way. A lot of old websites started relying on databases, and before they were totally secure or much more secure than they are now, you could do an SQL injection, find some contact form, which is probably feeding into a database. You put a specially lined string of code in there, and the system doesn't know what to do with it, and it produces an executable binary inside of the database, allowing a breach. So that ended up being solved by doing different filtering things and stuff like that. But the prompt injection, remember, this is when a website owner would have underlying code that if an AI lands on that page would respond to the prompts embedded on that page that the human users may not even be able to see. Now, the problem is, of course, even Microsoft warned, hey, we're going agentic AI, but you probably shouldn't turn on agentic AI because it can lead to prompt injection scams. Well, these guys are saying, security researchers are saying they may never solve this. How do you possibly solve it when the instruction set is there for the AI and the AI is designed to listen to the instruction set? You could, I guess, say, don't respond to any other prompts or whatever else. Like, you could do it by having a prompt on the AI and then a final, and then the AI cannot respond to any more prompts without some extra password. So in theory, it is possible to have a way around it. Not with the stupid level of Dory the fish level of memory that AI seems to have right now. But anyway, so prompt injections, of course, work because the AI models can't tell the difference between the app's instructions and the attacker's instructions, so they sometimes obey the wrong one. So it's a specific way of doing something, of course, with everybody wanting to go agentic to push AI as quick as possible out into the world. That's what's causing this. The rush to be the first to bring agentic AI into the world. And as soon as the first guy gets there, it's going to be taken over by a bunch of scammers really quick out of the box. And so that is what we see with that. Vitas healthcare breach exposes 319,000 patient records. Hackers maintained undetected access for over a month. Guess how they got in? A third party. Here's another fun thing I think we should do in the law. I think we should ban all third parties for these fundamental applications. There should, okay, I'm going to put together an amazing data collection app. I should have no third parties in there tinkering around with any of that data. If I can't figure out how to do it without bringing on a third party, I don't think I should be allowed to do it. There's a thought. Because all these research has shown that it's the third-party vendors is almost always the source of the data breaches. It's the same thing with a WordPress website. The WordPress core is fairly secure. I mean, very secure, actually. I'd move above fairly into very. It's very secure. Very hard to hack into it. But the reason so many WordPress websites get hacked is because everybody and their brother says they're a WordPress developer. They install WordPress through some one-click softaculous in the back of a cheap hosting platform, and then they go onto an Nevada and then plug the thing full of hundreds of plugins that WordPress can natively do. I took over a WordPress website for somebody the other day, and it was so bloated with a bunch of stuff. You had like multiple plugins that all did the exact same things. So I'm like, let me go ahead and clean all this out. So we did. We cleaned it all out. We got it all done. We got it all taken care of. WordPress website's working a little bit better after all the duct tape was taken off. We had to solve some underlying problems, and I think we got them mostly solved now. I haven't heard anything in a couple days anyway, so we might be good by now. I don't know. We might be good by now. But the problem is that you add all these extensions to WordPress, it's insecure. You add all these third-party vendors because you don't want to build the functionality into your app. Well, that's where the vulnerability is coming from. So these guys were inside of the third party, which had full access to all the data. So this third party here, what makes this incident devastating is the comprehensive nature of the data exposed. The attackers didn't just grab basic contact information. They deliberately harvested social security numbers, driver's license numbers, medical diagnoses, street numbers. Was it the same people that hacked Petco? I'm wondering. Medical diagnosis, treatment information, next of kin contact information. These are patients in end of life. So this is a hospice care company. The good news is the primary person probably doesn't care if their data was breached. But it's these next of kin might have a bigger problem. I don't know. This is a weird one. But still, it's the third party let them in, and the third party had such poor security they didn't know of an intrusion for over a month. Kind of crazy. Well, the Canadian police are trialing face recognition in body cams. This is up in Edmonton, and in this one city up there, they are doing scanning. Of course, this is something that was deeply controversial in 2019. The ethics board at Axios said facial recognition wasn't reliable enough. CEO Rick Smith said at the time, current face matching technology raises serious ethical concerns. In addition, there are technological limits using this technology on body cameras. Consistent with the board's recommendation, Axion will not be commercializing face matching products. Of course, 2 years later, 9 of the board members resigned after the company reportedly went against their recommendations by pursuing plans for taser-equipped drones. Wonderful. And so now Gideon Christian, an associate law professor at the University of Calgary in Alberta, same province as Edmonton, told Yahoo News that Edmonton's police move would transform body cameras from a tool making police officers accountable into a tool used for mass surveillance. Now, they did say on the technical end that it doesn't give any live feedback to the officer, but all of the data recognition is processed elsewhere, and somebody monitoring it at the police station can make any inferences from the facial recognition. And so this is actually in the United States. ACLU identified 7 wrongful arrests in the U.S. thanks to inaccurate facial recognition scans. Has this improved greatly since then? I don't think so. In June, police in Detroit agreed not to make arrests purely based on it as part of a settlement for the wrongful arrest of Robin Williams. I guess he's risen from the dead, no longer acting. Now I guess he's apparently a lookalike to a criminal, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, wrongful arrest of a man named Robin Williams based on that, of course, Robin Williams. And I think these 7 almost always were people who were black. So black people are routinely misidentified by facial recognition. I don't know if that's any better. It's just, hey, it's been 6 years since the controversial point. Let's just go ahead and silently roll it out up in Canada, of all places. It's kind of like the aliens invading in a small school in Ohio and the faculty. You know, why would you attack this place? Would you blow it up Independence Day style? Or would you just sneak in the back door? Yeah, they're sneaking in the back door, going through Edmonton, testing out facial recognition on live body cam footage. How wonderful. All right. Meta centralizes Facebook and Instagram support, tests AI support assistant. Oh my, I have things to say about this. Nothing positive, of course. Within the hub, users will find tools to report account issues, recover accounts they've lost access to, and gain answers via AI-powered search and an AI assistant. New AI assistant being tested is designed to offer more personalized help with things like account recovery, managing your profile, or updating your settings. This particular feature will be first available to Facebook users, but the company expects to roll it out. Now, I actually think they've been testing this for a while. The reason is one of my clients has a Facebook account that I have to get in there and do some management of from time to time. And we noticed we could not make some administrative things, even though we were listed as the account owner. So I go in there and I go in there to make a change on something. It says, hey, you need to verify this. And it pops up an email address. And the email address is nobody affiliated with the company. They're nowhere affiliated anywhere in the account. Not at all. We reported this to Facebook in September. And we were constantly giving information back and forth. And then we get daily emails. We're still waiting for information, even though we've given them every bit of information. Eventually, I made them a giant document and even did a whole screen recording to show them exactly what the problem is. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, we'd get somebody else. We see you're having trouble getting into your account. Would you give us the details? You have the account number. Look it up. So either these were the stupidest, most incompetent morons in the world, or they were hoisting AI on us. Maybe a little of both. I don't know. But after 2 months, we hired a third-party company that was able to go in and resolve it for us. Facebook's has been incompetent for months. I don't know if we were in AI hell all that time, or if we were just dealing with the stupidest people on the planet. I mean, they must have harvested the depths of morons. There's got to be a continent of absolute morons somewhere. And Facebook's like, let's go there and hire people. Or it was just stupid AI. Because, I mean, it had the signs. I mean, it had the memory retention of Dory the fish. And, like, please tell us about the problem. You have the case ID number. Can't you look at the history? I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't know. Claims don't match up with the lived experiences of thousands of users of Meta apps who complain they've lost access to their accounts or Facebook pages due to mistakes made by Meta systems. Some even suspect AI is to blame, as the mistakes and support requests don't seem to involve any human oversight. Can concur. And guys, like, I don't use Facebook. I don't want to deal with Facebook. And I'm still forced to deal with Facebook. Maybe I just need to find more clients that will hire their own people that do it Facebook. I don't know. Actually, we did pass off a lot of that Facebook stuff to that company we brought in. And that was my recommendation. Bring in a company who knows and cares about Facebook. I'm sick of dealing with it. I'll go in there into the Facebook account and I will post our blog posts when I put them up. And that's as far as I want to get into the Facebook account. And so far, it looks like this company we brought on is doing a pretty good job for us. So happy about that. There you go. OpenAI says it's turned off app suggestions that look like ads. This is a good one here. All right, so, OpenAI continues insisting there are currently no ads or tests for advertising live in ChatGPT. The company's chief research officer, Mark Chen, also acknowledged that the company fell short with recent promotional messages and is working to improve the experience. All right. So they say in here, and this is another one of these things. This is like Windows suggestions. They're not advertisements. They're just suggestions. There's no money being traded here. This is what they say. There's no financial component to those suggestions. Wonderful. So this guy here says, I'm in ChatGPT, paid plus subscription, asking about Windows BitLocker, and it's showing me ads to shop at Target. So the question is this a legitimate tweet? Is this something that is manufactured? Because this is what they're saying. Okay. This guy says screenshots you've seen are either not real or not ads. So this guy either is not an ad for Target down here, or it's made up. That's what the guy is saying. However, there's a lot of people saying they're seeing the same stuff. ChatGPT head Nick Turley posted on Friday he was seeing a lot of confusion about ads rumors in ChatGPT. There are no live tests for ads. Any screenshots you've seen are either not real or not ads, he wrote. If we do pursue ads, we'll take a thoughtful approach. There is no thoughtful approach for hoisting ads upon people, particularly your paid subscribers. People trust ChatGPT. Unfortunately, people trust ChatGPT, okay? It's not trustworthy, but unfortunately, people trust it. And anything we do will be designed to respect that. I agree that anything that feels like an ad needs to be handled with care, and we fell short. So were they ads? Were those fake images? Or did we fall short and we were actually pushing out things that everyone thought were ads? Very interesting. We've turned off this kind of suggestion. Will we improve the model's precision? We're also looking at better controls so you can dial this down or off if you don't find it helpful. Oh, wonderful. So is it advertising or not? They're either not advertising or not ads. It was just suggestions. Don't worry, there's no financial component to it. We're just offering you a bunch of stuff that we make money on. There's just no financial component. Oh, okay. Well, if you have a Porsche in Russia, well, you're probably an elite, but anyway, Porsche apparently had an outage in Russia because these vehicles were equipped with a satellite-based security system, and the satellites went down in Russia. No word if Putin had anything to do with it, but hundreds of Porsche cars in Russia became undrivable due to a malfunction in their factory-installed satellite security system. Drivers in several Russian cities report sudden engine shutdowns, fuel delivery blocks after Porsche cars lost satellite alarm module connectivity, leaving all models at risk of self-locking, according to the dealership group Rolf. According to the Russian website RBC, the incident shows any Porsche can be immobilized through its factory alarm system. The outlet suggests resolving the issues by disassembling and resetting the alarm unit. So people said they could factory reset their car and it would come back, or disable the battery for a few hours and come back. But it's just a stern warning that if you happen to have all of these connected cars, go buy a car that's not connected. I mean, really, there's no reason a car needs an internet connection. Like, you need to do over-the-air software updates. No, you just need to have good security in your car when it ships out, and not have things that can be breached. Don't copy paste stuff from Stack Overflow. I'm looking at you, Kia and Hyundai. If you don't have an internet-connected car, you're not worried about getting hacked on the internet. So that's okay, too. If you're super concerned, we can go back to these crazy things called keys. I don't know. But, yeah, connected cars, bad idea. And people in Russia are realizing that now. Cable channel subscribers grew for the first time in 8 years last quarter. This is actually a little bit of a false headline, but I did want to cover it a little bit because it does show that people are getting fed up with the traditional streaming sites. Research analyst Moffat Nathelson released a cord-cutting monitor Q3 2025 Signs of Life report. It found that pay TV operators, including cable companies, satellite companies, and virtual multi-channel video distributors, which YouTube and Fubo are tied up in, added 303,000 net subscribers. So this is more linear video subscribers now than there were 3 months ago. First time we've been able to say that since 2017. So going all the way back in this chart, we had some positives in 2017, positives in 2016, and for the first time, positives here. Now, the reason this is a little bit of a misnomer is because it does include the fact that the majority of what they said in here was YouTube Premium. Of course, this report would have been one of the probably not the first report, but one of the first reports after YouTube basically said, hey, get premium, we're blocking all ad blockers, and many people were having problems with some ad blockers. And so it's not surprising to see this, especially since they did say in the fine details that YouTube does claim a lot of those. 8 million subscribers. Let's see. World's largest VMPVD subscriber account. YouTube TV claimed 8 million subscribers in February 2024. Some analysts estimate that number is now 9.4 million. So they said YouTube had 750,000 in Q3 2025 compared to 1 million in Q3 2024. And so a lot of it is that, but some of this is like, some of these are like let's see, Comcast, I think, is one that would fall under this group, but things like Peacock and Netflix, those fall under the streaming. So there's a little bit of a misnomer. It's not like people are jumping back to cable TV, but it does indicate a weakness in the general streaming market as people are going more towards other services that are not specifically streaming companies, but more content on demand type companies, which would differentiate themselves from streaming utilizing some narrow definitions. So it is a little bit odd, but it does still show that people are getting fed up, I think, with a lot of the streaming. And I think that that is certainly one of the challenges. All right, now we are going to shift gears, and we have 4 wonderful Sillyville articles to talk about. And so let's go ahead and chat about these guys here. So first up, you've seen modern art, but never man-made horror like this. Look at this. And I'm going to not play the audio in case there's anything in there. But these are somebody took these robotic dogs and put these tech billionaires' faces on them. They take your picture and then poop out the Polaroids of the pictures they just took. So here's here you go. There's Elon. And here's Mark Zuckerberg popping a squat. There you go. So he's just pooped out the Polaroid, the picture that he just took of you. I like this comment down here. Lord Jesus, come quickly. Yes, we have reached the end stage of humanity. Okay, I don't know. I want to cover this one, although I think it's probably fake. We had a good discussion about this last night. I think some ordinary gamers covered this, and it does appear we now have a little bit of evidence that this is fake, and the only ultimate source is from Reddit. However, what is true is the picture. The picture that the Reddit user used to make this was legitimately a picture taken and uploaded by another Reddit user, just saying, hey, look at this freaky ad I just got on my TV. Somebody else took this and made an entire story about a schizophrenic woman named Carol in the UK who thought her refrigerator was trying to talk to her and ended up going into the hospital. So there's a whole Reddit thread about that. And I think that the story is completely made up because, well, first, it's Reddit. There's no verification of this. Of course, would there be solid verification of the intimate details of a medical patient? Probably not. It's probably not something that might reach the news because, yeah. But at the same time, it does appear as though it's probably fake, especially since the accompanying picture came from somebody else just saying, hey, look at this freaky ad I just got for this new TV show. But allegedly the TV, the refrigerator, showed this ad, and this person said, this schizophrenic person allegedly named as Carol is saying, oh, the TVs, the refrigerators, see, I keep saying TVs because it's so absurd to have an ad on your refrigerator, right? But the reason I did want to cover it is because it is true that Samsung refrigerators are pushing ads now in their high-end models. Go figure. You just paid a boatload of money for a crappy television with a crappy Android device built in, and now the thing's giving you cover ads. Wonderful. So it's not outside the realm of possibility, but I do think that this is probably a fake story, but it's still nevertheless funny, and it could potentially be real, because what happens if you do see an ad like this and your name is Carol and you are actually a schizophrenic? The problem is how many schizophrenics named Carol have a several $1,000 refrigerator that's showing ads. I don't know, that Venn diagram might seem pretty small. On, though, to the real news, this is great. Of course, they did tell us that, we have all these accidents because all these human drivers. When it's all the robot cars, it'll be fine. Yeah, 3 Waymos caused a standoff, creating a traffic jam in San Francisco because the Waymos don't know what they're doing. And they're all waiting for each other to do something. And nobody's doing anything because they're all waiting for somebody else to do something. Yeah, I just said that. 3 Waymos on standoff create a traffic jam in San Francisco. Here's actually what's going on here. And it does look like 2 of them did have a little love tap there. But we got our Waymos. So you got this Waymo here is waiting on the other ones to clear. You got this Waymo and the other one, and you actually have somebody in this driveway trying to get out and can't get out because this Waymo's not going anywhere, and this Waymo's not going anywhere because these 2 Waymos are apparently kissing. And nobody exactly knows what's going on, and they're effectively waiting for an engineer to show up on scene to move these cars out of the way. Now, why aren't they communicating? I know that they have they have live scanning from people in India. Apparently, though, they can't take control of the car. I guess they can only relay messages, I guess. So this guy can't get out. This guy's not moving. And then these 2 self-driving guys have kind of come close, if not touched each other. And now nobody knows what to do. And so we just have a giant traffic jam caused by 3 Waymos. So you want to tell me again that this will all be resolved when it's only robots driving on the road? No, we will get nowhere at all. But that's precisely what their goal is. And on to, of course, as a computer channel, you guys all know that RAM is getting expensive. RAM is getting so expensive that Samsung will not even sell its RAM to Samsung. I mean, this is getting crazy. Due to rising prices in the AI bubble, Samsung Semiconductor reportedly refused a RAM order for the new Galaxy phones from Samsung Electronics. Is Samsung Electronics going to go to Micron and try and get that crucial one before they stop selling them to the end consumers? I mean, this is data center. I mean, it's consumer. You get a large order. Hey, Micron, our own Samsung factory won't sell us Samsung RAM. Can you hook us up? I mean, yeah, we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Don't worry. The AI is going to make us all wealthy, I guess. That's what they keep saying. I don't know. I doubt it. Well, if you want to hear more about crazy dystopian tech, they're not telling us about it. Last year, I did release my book, Code Red, Dark Tales from Tech, Volume 1. This is based on a collection of short stories I did telling you the dark side about the technology they're trying to hoist upon us in the world. You can access this over at tlm.li/code red. You'll land on this page here. You can actually look the book up anywhere you buy books online. We have softcover, ebook, and audiobook versions available. If you do have a Spotify account, you can actually listen to it ad-supported on Spotify as well, included in your account. So I'll throw that one out there as well. With that, if you want to help support the channel, have a look over at switchedtolinux.com/support, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.